Okay, we're to difference quotient 4. This is where you're going to have your complex fraction with a square root in its denominator. Many of us call this the spawn of Satan. It is similar to your worksheet 10 where you only had 3 problems because they take a full crazy page to do. So my function is 1 over the square root of x plus 5. So of course I'm going to substitute x plus h. I set up my slope difference quotient. And because I don't feel like rewriting these, after I set it up, I said, oh, we've got to play what's missing. And the common denominator is the square root of x plus h and the square root of x plus h plus 5. Again, I like to write 2 terms before I write 3 terms. And so I play what's missing. The first one needs the square root of x plus h. The second one needs the square root of x plus h plus 5. And so, yes, you're going to keep those in the square brackets because it's a complex fraction. And so now I still have the radicals. And so now I'm going to rationalize the numerator. And when I rationalize the numerator, I need to put in a parentheses or keep the square brackets, folks, because you're not done, because this is more than one term and that's more than one term. And now I combine the terms x minus x, gone, 5 minus 5, gone. Negative times x leaves me with negative x. And I have, yes, that denominator, first semester, second semester, third trimester. Yes, folks, it's huge. I cancel the x's. And yes, all of that. And I know it's disgusting, but that's your entire answer. It truly looks like the spawn of Satan. But now the purpose of this is to do a limit to find a slope. And when I do this limit, all these h's disappear. So I have a square root times a square root times 2 times the square root is a square root cubed times 2, which is normally written to the 3/2. And that's the cute little answer. So if I wanted to find the slope up here at, say, the ordered pair 4 1/3, because if I insert 4, I get square root 9, which is 1/3. So at 4 1/3, what would my slope be? I insert my 4 here, whose square root is 3 and cubed is 27. Whoa, negative 1 over 54. Woo! How would you like to graph that slope? All right, my second and last example is right here. I just make it really complicated, numbers everywhere, not a 1 to be found. And I make the x negative on top of it. And so I'm going to insert the x plus h and I distribute. I get the setup, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. I have to multiply by the common denominator. I play what's missing. Now, I'm going to be honest. I find that you all make the least number of mistakes if you just say put that 5 in front and just keep it down until the very end. Because then you see radical minus radical and you think of radical plus radical doing the conjugate. And of course, I could have left little parentheses in there, but I want to show you you don't have to, but you'll need parentheses here because these radicands each have more than one term. And then I'll play the game. 4 kills 4, negative 7x minus negative 7x. And negative times negative 7h is a 7h. Now times that 5 is a 35h. The h's cancel, and now I have 35 over that delicious looking denominator. Again, I'm going to show you the limit that's used for finding slope. It's going to be the same pattern. I'm going to have square root times 2 times the square root, which is the square root cubed times 2, which is always written this way in math. They rarely ever leave it that way. And now we could find some crazy ordered pair that's on this curve. I'm not going to. And plug it in here and get the wonderful slope. That's the purpose of all of this stupidity. Now, this worksheet takes longer. I'm not going to tell you which method to use when you see a coefficient on top and you have a complex fraction, but I will tell you that people make the least number of mistakes if they just common factor that, because then the rest of the problem looks normal, regardless of what my answer keys look like. Because on my answer keys, I might have 5 and 5, and I'll have a 5 and a 5 and do these, and then I'll just have 5 times the parenthesis, 5 times the parenthesis, put a 5 there, kill them off, and still do all the work. Why, I've been doing this for years. And by the way, that's the way I was taught. All right, that we had to do it. But you need to know we didn't have calculators, and we were absolutely excellent at our algebra. This is the key. Algebra and arithmetic are what kill you in higher level math. Algebra and arithmetic. The lower the level, the more common the error. Be careful.